There is something uniquely haunting about abandoned car cases, not just because someone vanished, but because their life seems to stop mid-sentence. The vehicle is still there, the keys are sometimes still inside, a purse may be sitting in the passenger seat, coffee in the cup holder, shoes in the floorboard, a jacket draped over the back seat, across the back seat, tiny traces of ordinary life frozen in place, and then nothing. No confirmed sighting, no definitive explanation, no clean ending. Just a vehicle sitting silently on the side of a road, like a question no one can answer. And psychologically, these cases stay with people because human beings crave conclusions. We want beginnings, middles, and endings. We want explanations. We want resolution. But abandoned car cases deny us all of that. Instead, they leave behind uncertainty, and uncertainty is one of the hardest emotional states for the human brain to tolerate. That is part of why cases like Patricia Meehan continue haunting people decades later. In 1989, Patricia Meehan was driving near Circle, Montana, when she was involved in a crash. Witnesses saw her after the accident. That part is important, because Patricia did not simply disappear without anyone seeing her again. Multiple people reportedly observed her behaving strangely after the collision. Some accounts describe confusion, others describe detachment, almost as if she were physically present but psychologically somewhere else entirely. And then she walked away. No confirmed trace afterward. No verified explanation, no definitive resolution. Cases like this immediately split public opinion. Some people believe foul play occurred shortly afterward. Others believe Patricia experienced some kind of psychological break, disassociation, injury, or confusion after the crash itself. And what makes these cases difficult is that both possibilities can coexist within the realm of plausibility. As an attorney, one thing I always try to emphasize in unresolved cases is the difference between possibility and proof. The public often fills emotional gaps with certainty long before evidence actually supports it. People naturally create narratives because uncertainty feels unbearable, but unresolved cases rarely behave clearly, especially when human behavior under stress enters the equation, because trauma does strange things to people, fear does strange things to people, shock does strange things to people. And after crashes especially, people do not always behave rationally. There are documented cases where individuals with head injuries walked significant distances while disoriented. There are cases involving panic responses, fight or flight activation, substance use, sleep deprivation, mental health cases, fear of consequences, paranoia, disassociation. None of these automatically explains any one case. But it does remind us that human beings, under extreme stress, can behave in ways that appear deeply irrational to outside observers. And that brings us to another case that continues to fascinate people, Brandon Lawson. Brandon's case exploded online largely because of the now infamous 911 call. People analyzed it endlessly. Every pause, every word, every sound in the background. Some listeners believed Brandon was being chased. Others believed he was experiencing paranoia. Others thought he may have encountered someone after leaving his truck. And what makes these audio analysis cases difficult is that people often hear what they emotionally expect to hear. The human brain is designed to create patterns from ambiguity, especially when fear is involved, especially when someone is already missing. And once the internet collectively locks into a theory, it can become very difficult to separate speculation from evidence. But emotionally, people become deeply attached to these cases because they feel unfinished. There is no emotional landing place, no clear villain, no courtroom moment, no final chapter, just unanswered questions lingering year after year. And perhaps no abandoned car case demonstrates that more publicly than Maura Murray. Maura's disappearance became one of the most discussed missing person cases in modern internet culture. Entire communities formed around theories, podcasts, forums, documentaries, armchair investigations, and still, decades later, people continue debating what happened. Did she voluntarily leave the scene? Did someone pick her up? Did she succumb to the environment? Was another person involved? Again, uncertainty dominates the landscape, and uncertainty keeps people emotionally invested. Because unresolved cases psychologically invite participation, people feel compelled to solve them, to finish the story, to identify the missing piece. And sometimes the intense public investment helps cases, but other times it creates mythologies around real human beings. This is one of the difficult balances in true crime, especially ethical true crime, because behind every mystery is an actual person, an actual family, actual grief, actual unresolved pain. And families often remain trapped in emotional limbo for decades. No confirmed death, no confirmed survival, no definitive answers, just suspended grief. Psychologists sometimes call this ambiguous loss. It is one of the most painful forms of grief because the mind cannot fully settle into resolution. There is no emotional certainty, no ability to completely mourn, no ability to completely hope. Families often exist somewhere painfully in between. And when you study these abandoned car disappearances long enough, you start noticing another pattern. Many of them begin in incredibly ordinary ways. A drive home, a late night trip, a roadside stop, a missed appointment, a car found unexpectedly. Then suddenly, everything changes. The contrast is what makes these cases so psychologically unsettling, because they remind people how quickly normal life can fracture. One moment, someone is part of the ordinary rhythm of life. The next, they become a mystery discussed for decades. And maybe this is why these stories stay with us. Not because they involve monsters lurking in every shadow, but because they expose something far more uncomfortable. How fragile ordinary life really is. How quickly certainty can disappear. How sometimes people step out of a vehicle one night and are never fully seen again. Thank you for tuning in to Grace and Gavel, where truth meets compassion. My name is Buffy. I'm an almost 18-year criminal defense attorney. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope if you got value from this that you'll feel free to like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. We have a wonderful community where everyone is welcome, and I hope that you will join us. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.